Hello and welcome to Everyday Living with Penny. My name is Penny Malone and I'm your host. Today on the show I'm going to be doing kind of a test kitchen. A friend of mine, Tina Carter, that I work with, she has this recipe and I wanted to try it, but I didn't have time to try it at home before I did it on air. So I thought, well, I'll just do a test kitchen. So I have it's called company chicken with dried beef, and then I have broccoli Divan, and I'm making some biscuits for you. I've had some requests for biscuits, and Pear Cobbler, which I think I've made those before, but we're going to revisit that as well. So again, this is called company chicken with dried beef, and I've just got me just a little pan here, and we're going to spray the bottom with cooking spray. Okay, I bought a glass jar of dried beef. Kind of looks like pepperoni slices. You just take the slices and lay them in the bottom of the pan. Kind of looks like large pepperonis. Don't have to be exact, just cover the bottom. Okay, get that out of the way. And so next, I have got chicken breast. Now you don't want to use the chicken tenders because they'll get done too quick. So she said to use just the regular size chicken breast, and you take a piece of thick bacon and wrap it around your chicken. And just lay it down on top of your beef. And you could use more bacon if you wanted to. I just thought I'd use one strip per slice. So. Okay. All right, so we've got our chicken and our bacon and everything in, and I'm going to wash my hands right quick. Okay, so we've got our meats in. I have a can of cream of mushroom and a can of cream of celery. And we're just going to put those together. Okay, and then I have got an 8-ounce cup of sour cream. We're going to mix this up really good. And don't do like me, use a bigger mixing bowl so you can mix it really well without it sloshing over the sides. I'm very bad for using whatever bowl I have on hand. Okay, there we go. Now, I've got a stick of butter, and I'm just going to cut up some pats and just put it on top of the chicken, okay? Now we're going to take our mixture here, soup mixture, and pour it over the top. Now as this bakes, it's going to kind of liquefy a little bit, and it'll go down into the sides. Okay. Just spread it out. This would be good with some green beans and some garlic mashed potatoes because it makes a gravy. Tina swears by this recipe, so we're going to find out exactly what it tastes like. Very simple, just a lot of ingredients. Okay. And I preheated my oven to 450. Now I'm going to break off some cheese here. And we're just going to shred a little bit of cheese on top. You can also use a little bit of breadcrumbs if you wanted to. We're just going to shred some cheese on top. This is mild cheddar, but now you can use any cheese you want. Okay, and I'm going to just put a little pepper on top. I wouldn't use salt because your dry beef is cured, so it's got all kinds of sodium in it. Your soups, I did do the low sodium soup, but they still have sodium in it, and the cheese has sodium in it as well, so you don't really need anything like that. So preheated oven, 450. And bake until your chicken's done, which usually takes like 30 to 35 minutes, just depends on your oven. You want the juices, of course, to be clear and the inside of the chicken to be white. So I'm gonna get all this cleaned up and we'll be back.
Egan Construction in Gate City is a fully licensed electrical, industrial, commercial, and residential contractor whose services include maintenance on home or corporate offices, custom designed kitchen renovations, demolitions, insurance restorations due to water dryouts, wind damage, or fire, licensed interior designing and architectural drawings, full excavations. They're licensed in Virginia and Tennessee. That's Egan Construction, 345 Water Street in Gate City.
Welcome back. On this part of the episode, we are going to make broccoli and chicken Divan. I've got 2 pounds of broccoli. I just used the frozen, or you could buy fresh broccoli and steam it yourself if you wanted to. I heated this in the microwave for just a little bit to knock the chill off. And we're going to put this in our baking dish. Okay, then I've got 3 cups of chicken. You can either shred the chicken, or after you've cooked it, you can cut it up in cubes. But you just put this on top of your broccoli. Okay. Now, in our bowl here, I'm going to put, I've got 2 cans of cream of mushroom. Got about a cup of onions, diced. Just a small can of sliced black olives. And a large can of mushrooms, pieces and slices, drained of course. Okay, then I'm going to add 16 ounces of sour cream. Okay, so now we're going to mix this up. Okay, so our company chicken is done, so I'm going to turn the oven off on that for right now and go back to mixing this up. Okay. So then we just pour that mixture on top. And as it heats up and bakes, it will seep down into the broccoli and make kind of like a sauce for your broccoli. Okay. Now I've got a half a stick of butter here. I'm going to slice off some pats and just place on top. You know, you don't have to have a lot. Okay, and then I've got some Italian breadcrumbs. It's very, very lightly. Don't need a lot. Okay. And then put a little cheddar cheese on top. Now I've preheated my oven to 450 degrees. Okay, and a little more pepper. Okay. Now, I'm going to slide this in the oven. We're going to let it bake for about 30 minutes on 450 degrees. And let me go ahead and get our company chicken out. Smells delicious. You can check the chicken by cutting into it and making sure that all of your juices run clear, and kind of pull it apart and just make sure that it's white on the inside. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up, and then when we come back, I'm going to make biscuits, buttermilk biscuits, and a Pear cobbler. Welcome back, and I've got my biscuits out, and I went ahead and put everything out for the Pear cobbler as well. For the biscuits, it's real simple. I actually had somebody asking me for a good recipe for this. So I've got about 2.5 cups of self-rising flour. If you want to use the all-purpose and add your baking soda and your salt, by all means do that too. It's just as good. And I have an 8x8 pan with a stick of butter in it. I'm gonna go ahead and stick it in the oven and let it be melting. Don't burn it, just melt it. So just a minute or two. And then I've got 1 3/4 cups of buttermilk. So just go ahead and you basically pour that in. Mix it up really good. And keep an eye on your butter. Like I said, you don't want it to burn. There we go, throwing flour again. This is going to be kind of like a sticky dough. And it's, I guess you could say it's kind of like drop biscuits. That's what my grandmother made a lot. But what we're going to do is we're going to just pour this in the pan and let it raise on its own. Okay. So we're gonna give that just a few more minutes. I'm gonna rinse this off real quick. Check on our chicken and broccoli Divan. It's about done, I believe. There we go. Okay, get it to clear. It's mostly melted. I'm going to go ahead and stick our cobbler pan in here as well and let it be melting. Okay. Like I said, you just pour this in. Just spread it out. And it's okay if the butter comes to the top. And what I like to do is I go ahead and make a kind of a score here, because your batter's thick enough to where it'll hold that shape, and then once it bakes, it'll bake up into individual biscuits. So now we're gonna put this back in the oven. It's on 400 degrees, and you're gonna let it bake 10 to 15 minutes, depends on your oven, of course. Some bake hotter than others. Okay. Go ahead and, okay. Now for our Pear Cobbler. I have got a large can of pear slices. And you want to keep the juice, so you need to spoon out your pears, because we're going to use the pears or the juice here in just a minute. While we were on break, I was telling them about this, one of my mini kitchen fails. I was making a peach cobbler for a coworker that absolutely loves peach cobbler. I don't care. He's never met peach cobbler that he don't like. And it's like, well, I'll just make him one. So I went to the store, got everything I needed, and mixed everything up, put it in the oven, brought it out, and I was like, that's really heavy. It don't look right. Because I've made peach cobbler, you know, any kind of cobbler, thousands of times. Should not be having a problem here. And I got to looking at my flour, and I had picked up all-purpose flour from the store instead of self-rising. So there was no baking soda in it to make it fluff up. There was no salt. There was just, I tried a bit of it. That was the worst tasting cobbler I've ever had in my life. So that's my little tip for the day. Make sure you read your labels before you put them in. Otherwise, you could probably throw it through a wall. It's so dense and heavy. All right, so there's that. We'll cut up some of this butter. Okay. All right, so set your juice to the side, and then I've got 3/4 cup of self-rising flour. I have a cup of sugar. And I have a 3/4 cup of milk. Just stir that up real good. Make sure you get all the lumps out from the flour. Or if you've been a good cook and unlike me and sifted your flour, you would have lumps. Sometimes I get in a hurry, but I really should take the time to do that. Okay, so there's that. I've got my handy dandy Pyrex bowl, which this is also a pour spout. The handle's a pour spout. So I'm going to pour that all over these pears and butter. Okay, then I'm going to take the rest of my juice, about half of it maybe. And you don't have to stir this or anything. Just pour a little bit in there with it. Okay, forgot to get our sugar out, or our cinnamon, sorry. Just put just a tad bit cinnamon on the top. Okay, now we're going to stick this in the 400-degree oven and let it bake for about 20 minutes or until your dough is done. You don't want it too dark or anything. Okay, so let me go ahead and get our broccoli and chicken out. It's ready. Okay, there's our broccoli and chicken Divan. Okay, all right then, so I'm going to go ahead and here's another shot of our broccoli and chicken Divan. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get all this cleaned up, and when we come back, I'll have everything out of the oven and ready to be plated.
Egan Construction in Gate City is a fully licensed electrical, industrial, commercial, and residential contractor whose services include maintenance on home or corporate offices, custom designed kitchen renovations, demolitions, insurance restorations due to water dryouts, wind damage, or fire, licensed interior designing and architectural drawings, full excavations. They're licensed in Virginia and Tennessee. That's Egan Construction, 345 Water Street in Gate City.
Welcome back, and I've got everything out for us, and it smells really good today. I've got chicken and broccoli Divan. Then we've got our company chicken with the dried beef, and then here are our biscuits, fresh out of the oven, and then I've got our Pear Cobbler. Now when you get your Pear Cobbler out of the oven, it's still going to be a little bit runny, but you let it set for a little while and it sets up. And I wanted to make a correction too. I told you to bake it for 20 minutes. That's not right. You bake it for about 40 minutes on between 400 and 450, whichever one you want to do. Just make sure your dough gets really good and done. But again, so instead of 20 minutes, we do it for 40 minutes. I want to thank you for coming by today, and I hope you enjoy these recipes. You can find them on Facebook. Just search for Everyday Living with Penny, and I'm also on YouTube. Just search for Everyday Living with Penny and it should pop up for you. If you have any recipes you'd like to share, please send them in. And I hope you all had fun today. I sure did, and we'll see you next time.